Man, that's a good song. How's it going, guys? Brandon here. You may know me as the Hardcore Kid, the Hardcore Dude, the Softcore Kid, or the Tryhard Kid. But right now, I am here to do a review of WrestleMania 2018. Joining me, as always, I have Nate.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Braden Walker.
Braden Walker?
And I'm gonna knock your brains out.
Oh, God.
Poor Chris Harris.
Whatever happened to him, anyway?
Well, he got fat, came back to TNA, and the Smarks destroyed him with their chants of, knock, knock, who's there? Braden Walker.
And I guess Chris Harris realized, wow, this sucks, I'm gonna quit now. How dare they?
He still does the odd show every now and then, but he's TNA's version of Marty Jannetty.
He used to be America's Most Wanted, now nobody gives a shit about him. So yeah, we're not alone here. We have another wrestling reviewer joining us, Charles Thomas, a.k.a. Duke CT. How you doing, man?
Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this interesting podcast we have the Hardcore Kid and his hockey friend and me.
Hockey, anime, geek friend.
I'm just a crazy guy from New Jersey who likes anime, hockey, pinball, and heavy metal.
And Robot Wars.
And Robot Wars.
But that's none of my business. So yeah, we're going to be reviewing the 2018 WrestleMania 34, I believe it is now.
It is 34.
It is 34.
Oh, yes.
WWE just got lazy and decided to ditch the numbering system.
Yeah. Which
is weird, which is sad cuz I get that you don't want to tell the fans that, this is an old event, but come on, the fact that your event's been around for over 30 years, that's something to be proud of.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. It's I think it's probably one of the most, I mean, it is probably the longest running thing in America as such. It's not as long as, say, the Super Bowl or the World Series or anything else, but it's something to be proud of at least.
Hey, you want to know what the longest running sporting event in all the four major sports is?
Hockey.
What? Yep, Stanley Cup Final. They've been giving out the Stanley Cup since 1893.
Yet their ratings hasn't peaked since then. So
well, the NHL's been really shitty with its TV license.
Well, some teams are doing good. The Devils have been really taking off lately.
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there.
Now we're here to talk about
the WrestleMania,
the big leagues,
the showcase of the Immortals.
Yeah. And just like last year, this was a show that started off really strong and was looking to be when you look at the card, you got Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. And as it started off really good, and unfortunately, just like last year, it petered off to the end and kind of ended on a dud.
I didn't think so. I honestly, with my review of WrestleMania with Keira Kennedy, plug, I thought the WrestleMania ended up pretty well. I honestly think the Lesnar and Reigns match wasn't too terrible, besides that horrible botch. But I thought it was actually a pretty good.
Here's the big problem I have with the main event, though. I mean, it's been, 3-4 years since they've started to book Roman Reigns as their big main event star. But it's like the fans don't like him.
It's because, honestly, it's the way he has been forced down the throats. It's the Cena issue again. And honestly, I don't know who they're going to put up there, because the last time they put all these other people there, it's not working.
I know who they're going to push.
Well, I think I do too, but we'll get to that when we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, this is Tuesday. We'd also just seen the Monday Night Raw, aka Night of the Smarks. So we have a good feeling who Brock may be facing next. But yeah, it's like, I don't hate Roman Reigns.
Me neither.
It's just that I think that they just haven't been doing a good job booking him. I mean, the moment they turned on him was when he did those suffering succotash promos, and I'm like,
but that's wrong. That's Vinny, and that's old Vinny Mac, as he's trying to make him like a cartoon character.
And it didn't work.
It's too. I felt that the push. It's a case of too much too soon. They made the same mistake with Bobby Lashley in his early days, you know?
Yeah.
He had the potential to be a big star.
Same as Sheamus.
Yeah. And I think now was the good time to finally give him the championship again and actually give this WrestleMania a happy ending. But no, it wasn't to be.
I've got a whole rant saved up for that.
Yes, we'll save.
Oh yes, let's go. Let's start off with the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. Should we go with the pre-shows?
Yeah, I reviewed the pre-shows. Nate didn't, but I will. But they were definitely pre-show matches. I mean, first match was the 30-man battle royal for the Andre the Giant Memorial Trophy. It's every typical battle royal you've seen with all the mid-carders, lower carders, and carders that are deep down in the basement of WWE. And in the end, it came down to Baron Corbin and Mojo Rawley, the previous two winners, and Woken Matt Hardy. And just when it looks like Matt Hardy is about to be thrown out, all of a sudden the lights go out, we hear Bray Wyatt's little sound effects, and Bray Wyatt has returned. But this time, he has become woken, thanks to the Lake of Reincarnation.
I am so glad. I thought it would have been funny if they brought him back as Husky Harris, but it's better that they didn't.
Yeah. So Bray has now become a babyface. He saves Matt Hardy. He helps throw Mojo and Boredom Corbin out. Sorry, that's a little smarky, but
I'm off the Corbin bandwagon.
Yeah, well, he's WWE's version of Yoshihashi from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Total tweener.
Yeah, and Matt Hardy finally wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Trophy, the Battle of the Giants, as he calls it, and now the Woken Bray has joined Matt Hardy and joined the Woken Universe.
Wonderful!
It's about time, because Bray Wyatt has just been an absolute push killer for so many wrestlers. I mean, especially after last year when he had that god awful feud with Orton. He lost the WWE Championship in the Maggots and Crickets match, which, by the way, won the Wrestling Observer Award for worst match of the year. So
no, I thought it was the House of Horrors. I thought that match was worse.
That wasn't even a match, but
it was a vignette.
It was a shitty final deletion ripoff.
I mean, you could see what they were going for in the House of Horrors match, but that WrestleMania match, what was the purpose of the projector that they had?
To try and spook them out.
To try to get rid of Randy Orton, but in the end, it was like, my gosh, it was terrible. And after that I loved the fact in the last minute of that match, he Bray was finally got that the last projection and everything. And look, it was over, but then Randy just RKO'd him and won. I'm like,
what really makes me upset is, what was the point of turning Luke Harper babyface if you were just gonna have him lose his opportunity at the #1 contendership at WrestleMania and just have this shitty one-on-one match between Orton and Bray? Why not make it a triple threat?
Because they don't know how to write any decent storylines, my friend.
And then months later, Luke joined forces with the Vintner Eric Rowan again, and now they're the Bludgeon Brothers, which I think it's a better gimmick.
I'll get into my thought.
Later.
Let's get to them, but all I'm gonna say is I get an 80s feeling with the Bludgeon Brothers.
I do
that's
too.
What I'm gonna say.
Yes.
Yeah. So the second match, that battle royal was actually in the pre-show match. This is the regular pre-match. Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali in a babyface versus babyface match, and they definitely shoved it down our throats with that by saying, "Hey, come on, let's have some fun." It's like, dude,
heart and soul, and I'm like,
dude,
okay,
it's a tournament. Just fight it out and beat each other up. And honestly, for the most part, it definitely felt like Mustafa was playing the heel here, and Cedric was the babyface. And then
Mustafa Ali trying really hard with his entrance, trying to be Iron Man, but it came out looking like he was trying to be the 2.0 version of Glacier. But that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. So he was a reptile.
No, man, that's Glacier, man. Seriously, I'm like at this point, at this point, you should have just said screw it. Let's do a Glacier gimmick. It's been long enough. I'm like, if Mustafa Ali, if this thing doesn't work, just give him the Glacier gimmick 2.0 with that same type of headgear and such.
Yeah, so they had the match. It was good, but nobody really cared, which is a shame because I actually heard 205 Live has been getting better lately. I heard the tournament was really good.
Oh, yeah, but I watched some of the matches that were good, but the problem is it's 205 Live.
Yeah, nobody cares.
No one cares.
You don't... hey, you need someone to fill time on Raw. Yo.
Hey, yo. But, yeah, Cedric Alexander managed to get some... he finished by landing some his big moves on Mustafa. He hit the lumbar check and got the pin, and I think it's well deserved because they booked Cedric Alexander as a real top guy. And let's be honest here, Cedric Alexander is one of the few guys in 205 Live who's really one of the best choices they could have picked because Neville's is gone, Aries is gone. Enzo Amore got fired. It's like, who else is there?
We don't know what the ultimate fate of Neville's gonna be.
He's gone.
Oh yeah, I honestly think Neville is going to be gone. So yeah. Anyway, let's get to the next match though.
Yeah, the women's battle royal for the Uterusal Championship.
That has to be a rib.
Oh my god! It's like, what were they thinking? It seriously looks like that statue thing in that Everybody Loves Raymond episode where it looks like a woman's cooch. It's like, what are they thinking? But yeah, they changed the name. It's now just called the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. And
I would have gone with the Mildred Burke or Luna Vachon Battle Royal.
And why not?
Yeah. By the way, Luna Vachon is underrated as hell.
Yeah. So it starts off. Carmella gets eliminated first, and I thought, okay, this is when she's gonna cash in during one of the matches. Nope, didn't happen.
Nope.
And then Dana Brooke gets completely surrounded. She pulls a John Reed by saying, "That's not nice! That's not nice!" And then everybody just throws her out. And so they have the match, blah, 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 blah. It comes down to Bayley and Sasha Banks. And who else? They threw out...
no, Bayley got rid of Sasha Banks. And then from out of nowhere, Naomi wins it.
Random Naomi is random, and I'm like, wow, black girls are really magic. I'm like,
it's like
here.
Where was Naomi? I don't even remember her being anywhere else.
Did she pull a
match.
Shawn Michaels in like the '91 Royal Rumble where she only had like 1 foot on the outside?
I thought Becky would come in and win, but apparently she got eliminated too. I had to watch the match again because I didn't know when she got eliminated.
Oh, she was eliminated, like stuff like that. Yeah.
She was eliminated right in the mix where Paige was talking and stuff, and it's like,
you can just hear her Paige, by the way, which, oh yeah, she felt like, oh gosh, she just felt like she just won. And again, I'm not like she's like a terrible announcer. Oh no, I'll take her over, Jonathan Coachman any day because
she got a little.
I'd rather have the press page than Jonathan Coachman because the commentary that night, in fact, on the Raw too. He was horrible.
Oh, speaking of commentary, there was an interesting mix tonight. JR and King were in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. And then for 205 Live, I believe we had Nigel McGuinness and that other guy that nobody cares about. And for this Battle Royal, we had Paige. We had... I don't even remember.
Lillian Garcia?
Lillian Garcia and a few other people.
I was just guessing because I didn't watch the pre-show.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. But, so it looked like Bayley had won and the crowd cheered. And then Naomi appeared out of nowhere and threw Bayley out. And the crowd cheered! God help us. I mean, after having, like, Nakamura and Sami Zayn turn, I don't want Bayley as a heel. I want Sasha Banks to be the heel in this feud.
I think it's going to be a mix of both of them. And I'm saying they're just gonna hold it off until the women's tag belts are gonna be debuting.
Oh dear God.
Look, we have enough belts on this franchise already.
We do.
I mean, no, and even better, we're gonna have cruiserweight tag titles too.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
So get ready for a 10-hour WrestleMania, people. It's going to be amazing.
At the very least, split it up into 2 days like they do at some of the Japanese events.
Yeah. Oh, shit, I forgot what I was about to say. But, considering we have a Universal Champion who's held the title for a year and still only shows up every now and then, although, I don't know, but...
Let's move on to the main show.
Yeah,
and
starting with Seth Rollins, The Miz, and your favorite wrestler, Nate, Finn Balor, for the Intercontinental Championship in a triple threat 3-way dance match.
Oh, and by the way, I have to say right now, those VR entrances, especially with Miz, that were just one of the most tackiest things I've seen.
My God. I almost thought those were real for a second, and then I realized, no, it's CGI that they added in. And
it was like VR stuff. He said, Miz, hot white. I'm like, what in the... Oh my gosh, this is sad. Who put this idea? It's like they're trying so hard to make VR a thing.
They are.
Guys, just stop
bad. It was terrifying when Asuka did it.
Virtual reality was cool in the early 90s. And then once it actually started executing, we all said, you know what? This is kinda lame.
Yeah.
In fact,
I thought it was lame when I watched the Dot Hack anime, and I'm like, look at these people.
It could have been worse. You could have
Total geeks.
You could have been in Sword Art Online.
Oh dear God, I have heard bad things about that.
If I were to watch it, I'd probably just say that it was okay, but it's
goodness gracious. I think the best or worst one was the rendering of the mask of Asuka. I was like,
I was horrified.
I'm like, what is this N64 graphics here?
Nah.
Still looks better than the new Berserk animes.
So we'll get into this. Seth Rollins came out looking like the Ice King from Game of Thrones. He had the contacts and everything.
I'm sorry, but Seth Rollins and Gray just do not jive.
No, I'll take this over his trying so hard to be Harlem Heat in the Royal Rumble. I'm like,
really? Really?
Dig up those fire pants. That's something.
I like that Bam Bam Bigelow look.
I said it in my review, and I'll say it again. It looks like something he was on Saturday night. Like he was on Saturday night, WCW Saturday night. It was like, that's jobber stuff right there, man. Get that stuff out of there.
So Miz comes out with his geek tourage, Bo Dallas, and
wearing a Naruto headband.
Oh God. But then he just told him,
somebody said that
get
he was
out.
dressed
I
as a
can
Naruto character, but I don't know which one it was.
Why is Naruto even still popular?
It's more popular than most things right now.
And Finn Balor makes his WrestleMania debut, I guess, with the LBGT community, and I'm like,
which is cool. That's cool.
You know,
I expected him to come out as the Demon, but you know what? This is something different.
The Demon is, well, you know, I thought they I thought that was the Demon. I'm like, at least it wasn't the pumpkin one, which I'm like, the Great Pumpkin.
I don't know. Yeah, you know.
Oh gosh, the Great Pumpkin Demon. I would say this: if that match between him and Bray, I would have been, you know what? Sure, that match with Sister Abigail and the Great Pumpkin would have been bad, but I'm like, you know what? It would have been something. It would have been at least something memorable. Would have been perfect for Wrestle Crap.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
So they had the match. It was a pretty fun opener, I have to say. Mm-hmm. It was all action. Everybody got all their moves in. You got Seth Rollins flying like 30 feet in the air onto everybody. Finn Balor landing his coup de grace in his 1916.
Coup de Gracie!
Yeah, don't even get me started with that. But
should take a page out of Katsuyori Shibata's book and change his finisher to the PK.
PKO?
No, penalty kick.
Well, there you go. But yeah, it was all action. Everybody got their moves in, and I think Miz managed to get a skull-crushing finale on, I think was it either Finn or Seth?
It was Finn.
It was Finn.
Finn.
And eventually, Finn Balor went for the coup de grace. Seth Rollins broke it up. And then finally, Seth hit the curb stomp, which he's now using again on The Miz. And he got the pin, and now Seth is the Intercontinental Champion and the second Shield member to become a Grand Slam champion.
Nice.
Grand Slam champ, and after that, he got some good meal from Denny's, so that's the good thing, you know.
Or wait, actually, I think Roman Reigns, Is Dean
Roman
Dean
Reigns
Ambrose?
won. Dean Ambrose, Intercontinental, United States Tag Team and WWE Champion.
And Roman, he isn't he? He's also a Grand Slam champion. I
Oh
think.
yes.
So they're all Grand Slam champions. Why not? And now I believe Seth Rollins is pushing his gimmick as Grand Slam Rollins, Grand Slam Seth, which
we gonna
has a
show
nice ring to it.
Are we gonna show? Is he gonna show up wearing baseball gear with a baseball painted on his face like a knuckleball? What's his face from the New Generation?
Who knows? But yeah, fun opener. I give it 4 stars. How about you guys?
I give it a decent match. It was decent. A good opener for the crowd, and something like it got people excited. A nice, even though I hate the fact that the superplex means nothing anymore, but overall I gave it I give it a 4 stars.
How about you, Nate?
Well, I'm gonna break with you guys, and I'm gonna go with the Bryan Zayn classic pay-per-view rating. I give this match 3 stars out of 4.
Sounds good. So, the next match is the SmackDown Women's Championship between Charlotte and Asuka, the Queen, versus the Empress.
With her terrible N64 graphics. And by the way, we have to give shout out to Charlotte Flair, who basically took Triple H's throne. And
I almost thought that was Undertaker's throne for a minute. The concrete, just totally.
I think it was. Seriously, do they still have those old props? I don't know. They're like screwed. We paid money for this in the '90s. We're gonna have use for this.
They've got a whole warehouse of stuff that they've used from past events. I was at a Devils game, and it was WWE night, and they had Daniel Bryan to help tossing t-shirts to the crowd. They had promo videos from Ric Flair and the like, and they had several of the props on display. Like they had William Regal's robe, the New Day's ice cream cart from last year's Mania, the bronze statue of Ric Flair. They keep a lot of the stuff that they've made.
Oh, I mean, hey, what else are they gonna do with it? I mean, they have
give it to somebody.
When they start selling that stuff, that's gonna be in trouble because I know at least one or two
$20,000.
Yeah, bringing up that stone thing, man. You can see that, you can be like they had to do a garage sale. WWE's gonna be in trouble. So it's hey man, that nice garage, that nice stone chair. How much was that? 20? Ooh, I'm 20. Ooh, 20 grand. No, I'll give 15.
20 grand, 20 grand, 21 grand, 21 grand, 22 grand.
Going once, going twice. Sold to the man with the balding haircut.
Yes.
So, Charlotte versus Asuka. Streak versus championship, and they also had a really good match.
Probably one of the best matches of the night, and honestly.
Oh, absolutely. I think, second or third best, I'd say, of the night.
I would say it was my second favorite of the night.
Yes, sounds about right.
Oh, yes. And, I mean, Charlotte really did some good stuff here. Asuka as well. And just it felt like, man, this could, I honestly, even though it was so much, it was a little too short. No, it felt like it was decently paced. I wouldn't say 2 more minutes.
It went 13:05.
Yeah, but I'd say 2 more minutes, maybe get up to 15. Yeah, but sure. That would actually been okay. But then again, it probably wouldn't linger a little too long. Mm-hmm. But overall, I really did enjoy the match. Something I could probably watch again.
Solid.
It was fun. It was great seeing Asuka tap, and as fun. I mean, you do know who her biggest role model is. The wrestler who she emulates the most is, right?
Who?
The man with the world's worst personality, my favorite New Japan wrestler, Minoru Suzuki.
I gotta say, when he had that hair, I thought he looked goofy. But once he shaved it all off, he is a frightening motherfucker.
Fun fact.
I think, was he there? Was he there, actually?
I heard that Okada was there. Was Tanahashi there? I think he was there.
I don't know, but...
I know Suzuki, I believe, was there as well. So.
Yeah, well...
No, Tanahashi was in the crowd, and, we'll get into that
Oh,
later.
My God. Yes. So, yeah, this was a good back-and-forth match. Submissions, takedowns, all kinds of craziness. Charlotte hit a spear, which I have not seen her do in a long time.
It was a good spear too.
And her arm got completely messed up. You can see it was all bleeding and stuff. And Finally, she went for the figure 8, which she did a tripod. It made it look like a figure 6. And finally, Asuka tapped out.
I was like, finally, because it just became this, the streak became bigger than Asuka. And honestly, I wish the streak should have lost at Ember Moon. I really think Ember Moon should have been on the
No, I think if the streak had to be broken, it had to be by the Queen, Charlotte, because Charlotte has she has pedigree. She's held multiple championships. She's the daughter of one of the greatest of all time, and Nature Boy Ric Flair.
And unlike Tatanka, Goldberg, or The Undertaker, this was a satisfying end to a streak.
Yes, I thought so.
Yes, and all things must come to an end. And this is like, Asuka's career is not over, and such. I think she'll probably win a championship or two, probably on SmackDown.
I think it gives Asuka a fresh start.
Yeah, exactly, and it gets that thing off about like, yeah, she finally lost. But that means there's like, you don't have to like, okay, we can just move on. Like it hamstrings a lot of the things. Like the whole mixed match challenge. Oh, if Miz loses, that means Asuka's streak is over. I'm like, what?
No,
it would, but not if she wouldn't be pinned or submitted, maybe.
Exactly. It's the Antonio Inoki streak, and Inoki went 7 years without being undefeated, but he was never pinned or submitted. That's the thing. That's the key word here. Asuka has never been pinned or submitted.
Because I think she's been thrown out of battle royals, but she was never pinned or submitted.
Exactly. So I honestly think it was good. Someone said, "Oh, she should have won a championship before." I'm like, but you know what? I think the way the streak was handled, I honestly think it's the best way for her to lose. And you could just like, you know what? This could probably put her more into the roster and see how sure.
Especially since we got new girls on the roster. Ember Moon's been called up. We got some of the girls. There were a handful of girls that were on NXT in that battle royal. I'm sure.
Yeah, they did a chant. They did a chant of NXT.
And right after the match ended, Asuka comes to her feet. She grabs a microphone and she says,
"You were ready for Asuka."
Charlotte was ready for Asuka, and the two hug, and it's a good WrestleMania moment.
That was a good moment.
We thought we'd get it again at the end of that AJ Nakamura match, but it was not to be.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the funny thing: John Cena, who was sitting in the crowd for pretty much the grand majority.
Wait, no, please. Yes, and so the guy comes up to him and he says, "Mr. Cena, could you please go out to the parking lot? You left your lights on."
I don't know. The reason why he ran, he was up there and ran back. I'm like, he was probably going to the bathroom. Those beers, man. He was drinking a lot of those beers, and just hey. Or he just basically seen as a lightweight. I'm just gonna say it right there.
It was funny. First thing, I see the ref running down. He was running as fast as Charles Robinson. It looked like just all the way down the thing, saying, "Hey, Cena, dinner's ready." And then Cena just runs all the way back to this. It was funny. I especially love Asuka's reaction. She's like, "Huh."
That happened.
Yeah, but that was fun. I think 3 3/4, 4 stars.
I give this one 4 stars.
Yeah, 4 stars.
4 stars.
4 stars.
4.5 stars.
Hey, why not?
Well, I'm going on 4 stars out of 4 for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up.
This match was not 4 stars. Fatal 4-way match for the WWE US Championship between Randy Orton, Bobby Roode,
and I'm disappointed.
Rusev, and Jinder Mahal.
Bobby Roode did not have those great NXT entrances that he had for that thing. Why couldn't he get that piano like going around like ding 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 ding?
Maybe they ran out of the budget.
That would have been great. And that would have
someone playing a baby grand. Oh, that would have been great. But hey, the Nashville Predators are using his theme for the Stanley Cup playoffs, so I'm not complaining.
And then you had Aiden English, who was in that battle royal, and then he had to shave his head because, his hair, he was trying to fight the battle for his hair, and he lost.
I swear, with those glasses, he looks more and more like Cesaro as he goes.
Honestly,
he's looking more and more like, the dude, Robert De Niro and Taxi Driver, personally.
Yeah.
I honestly like Aiden English, but that's because I'm a choir boy.
Rusev, first off, Rusev has lost a ton of weight. I remember the first time I saw him, he was this big, bloated guy, and now he looks chiseled. He actually looks to be about the same size as the other wrestlers here.
He's a main eventer, mark my words.
Oh, hell
and
yeah.
Then, and it was like, and then the entrance, and then you had Jinder Mahal looking like basically what was he? He looked like, honestly, a captain or something. Like, I was like, oh my goodness, are you sure that was like he's trying to be like, oh, wait, I'm a badass Indian guy? I'm like, no, man, he looks like something out of some of those like what was that captain? Captain Nemo from League of So Many Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Look, Jinder, I know that you fast in order to lose weight, but there's some times where you lose too much weight.
Why don't you tell that to Samoa Joe?
Or Sandman.
Oh.
He's still a fat bastard.
Or better yet, Cassius Ohno.
Well, you know what?
Oh, no.
Chris Hero can't help it because he has medical issues. So.
I know.
Oh yeah.
Well.
But you know what? This match was decent and
I didn't even bother with this match. Like,
yeah,
Rusev is obviously the most over in this match because he's got the Rusev Day gimmick, and I believe he's turning babyface after this since he was the one who took the pinfall. And
yeah,
and I honestly thought it was going to be Randy Orton retaining, but then Jinder Mahal, which I agree, Jinder Mahal should have won this match because, again, he's trying to rebuild himself to being a really good champ. I think he was a decent mid-card WWE champion, but now I think he will get that if he gets a good long run for the U.S. Championship, I think you can actually do something with Jinder Mahal. So at least they're doing something with him.
If this leads to a Rusev versus Jinder Mahal feud, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Or just bring Drew McIntyre in it.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Let's finally have a three-man band reunion. That'd be money. The match was just nothing. It went 8 minutes, and Jinder eventually won with his botched finisher on Rusev, and now he's gone from WWE champion to US champion. Yeehaw.
Give the match 2.5 stars out of 4.
I give it 2.
2 here. 2.
Yeah, two for me.
So
this match, ladies and gentlemen, the next match.
This was the best match of the night.
Oh my god.
Oh, this was wonderful.
You know,
Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon in a mixed tag team match. The first big news of this match, Golden Boy Drake Younger makes his debut as the referee.
Oh, yes.
As soon as I saw Drake, I'm like, hell yeah, it's Drake. He's been in NXT all this time, and now he's in WrestleMania, reffing a match with Ronda Rousey, Kurt Angle, Triple H, and Triple H's wife. Who cares about her?
Oh gosh, it was. I thought this match was going to be just.
Yeah,
boy, I thought it was going to be bad. And by the way, shout out to Ronda Rousey and her era, which was trying to really, the whole, Roddy Piper and such.
Yeah, I was nervous going in because when Ronda cut her first promo and she was so nervous, I'm like, this is death.
If she. I think the more mic time she gets, the more comfortable she starts.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. You start off in wrestling, you start off a bit green, and then you get better as you go on. I mean, yeah, that's how it goes.
But if this is how Ronda Rousey's gonna work in WWE,
oh, she's a star. She's a mega star right now.
To the moon.
Oh, definitely. Moon. I mean, she and the match itself. I gotta give props to Kurt Angle and Triple H because they did their roles pretty well.
I loved Kurt Angle being in peril, like trying to tag Rousey because they would just built it and they built it, and you're like, okay, when's he gonna tag? When's he gonna tag? And when she finally tagged in, the
place
crowd
exploded,
popped. Big time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the crowd was amazing for her around there, and she was taking down Hunter and Steph, and she was just good. She was beating them down.
She will be to this current product what Ken Shamrock will be to the Attitude Era.
Sure. But probably a lot more successful. By the way, I probably wish Ken Shamrock got like a world title run, but then again, who would you take down? You like
Rock. It's just there wasn't enough room in the main event scene with him.
Yeah, because most of the Attitude Era was Austin versus Rock. Basically.
Austin, Rock, Mankind, The Undertaker,
Kurt, And
Triple
honestly,
H.
I would say that if I think if Ken Shamrock would have lingered a bit, probably in 2002 or 3, he would have probably got at least a world title on him. I bet. Heck, he could have taken JBL's spot.
Please, I would have loved that. But,
Ken Shamrock versus John Cena. At WrestleMania. That would have been interesting.
So the first few minutes of this was Kurt Angle versus Triple H, and Triple H got the heat on Kurt, and Kurt tried to go for the tag, but Triple H he either just dragged him back, or I think he pulled Drake out of the ring at one point as well.
I think it was Stephanie actually.
That was Stephanie, and finally Ronda gets tagged in. And she just goes wild on Stephanie. Just putting her in arm bars, just throwing her around.
The backdrops.
Gorgeous. It was
the
beautiful.
Suplexes.
And then...
her style was meant for the WWE.
Yes. And at some point, it just completely breaks down. Drake tries to control everything, but then Triple H corners him and says, you know what? This is just going to be tornado tag. Who cares? And
it breaks down into a schmoz in the best way possible.
Yeah, and then I really loved it when it's Ronda versus Triple H. Ronda starts laying into Hunter, just give him these stiff punches, and then she picks him up, gets him on his shoulders, and it's the most surreal thing. It is.
She picks up Triple H like he's a feather.
It was awesome. And then Stephanie came in to break it up. And then finally, all this is going on. It's awesome. The crowd is hot. They're loving it. And then eventually, it's back down to Ronda versus Stephanie. Ronda gets Stephanie in the armbar, and Stephanie is just going, no, and then Ronda just locks it on. Stephanie taps. This was a raging success.
4 stars out of 4.
I give it 4 1/4. It was. I loved it.
That was probably the best match of the night. It got the crowd excited. And honestly, if this was the main event, I think the world would have been a lot. I think it would have been a lot better.
It should have been the main event. I know it's weird having a tag match in WrestleMania for the main event, because the only other time we've had a tag team main event was the first WrestleMania with Hulk Hogan and Mr. T versus Roddy Piper and was it Paul Orndorff?
Yes, Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah.
But considering that this was Ronda's big debut, 2 thumbs up.
Yes, absolutely.
Match of the night.
She's gonna fit in quite well in this company, I think.
Once her mic skills develop, she's ready for the main event in the women's roster.
That, or maybe she doesn't have to talk. I mean, we saw her and Steph in last night's Raw.
By the way, I would love to see about any the advertiser people the W segment. This is the family program, and something for the kids and everything. The crowd's gonna be great, and then 10 minutes into it, the crowd is basically saying, "F you, Stephanie," and calling BS. I'm like, other ad people they're like, so what do you think of putting your stuff on? Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, and then Ronda smiles and then gives a frown and then just flips Stephanie over, puts the arm bar on her again. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was great. We saw Dana White from UFC at the end. He's happy, although
I think he's probably putting a smile in front because he always has the Connor stuff to deal with.
It's just I'm pretty sure Ronda just passed him by backstage and said, "Hey, good luck, Dana."
Especially considering how much of a disaster UFC 223 was this weekend. I think he definitely wanted to get out there as fast as possible. So we went from that to midgets and pancake suits.
Oh, that New Day entrance. I'm sorry. I'm not going to get sick of the New Day anytime soon. Maybe it's because I just don't watch wrestling every week, but that entrance was hysterical.
I found it crazy.
It was all... it was probably one of the best New Day entrances in a while. And that pancake stuff. By the way, pancake or waffles? Personally, I'm more of a waffles guy myself. But
I could go either way.
I'm an omelet guy myself. I don't like the carbs.
I'm on a special diet. I eat what I can afford. So, SmackDown tag team match between the Bludgeon Brothers, Harper and Rowan, the Usos, and the New Day. This was the buffer match. I didn't care for it.
Me neither. But it was nice to see the new guys win. And it's good to see Luke Harper as a champion, because I like Luke Harper.
Yeah, I think it makes up for how they just completely dropped the ball on him last year.
Yeah, they came in and looked like monsters.
They feel like a tag team from the 1980s. Like Demolition or the Rockers.
Yeah.
Or the Powers of Pain.
It's definitely a better gimmick. It's good that they're not wearing those sweaty ass clothes anymore. They
have actual gear. I like the colors. They
got the sledgehammer that they look like they stole from Harley Quinn or Mr. Psycho or whoever.
Yeah,
just going around.
Let's just call them. You know what? I was about to say. Good win for the Hammer Bros. I mean the Bludgeon Brothers.
I'm still gonna refer to them as the Hairy Wizard and the Vintner.
But you know what? It was probably one of the most fun squash matches, because they two showed their stuff. And here's hoping they face against AOP in the future, because that match will be just straight amazing.
Money.
That would
money.
I'm sure Vince McMahon will fall in love with that eventually. Just a bunch of big guys just beating the shit out of each other.
Brawlers versus Haas.
So, The Undertaker versus John Cena. But let's get into the whole story first.
The build up to the match was very well done. I'll just say that much.
So the whole idea was John Cena was unable to get a match at WrestleMania. He lost the Elimination Chamber match. He was unable to get matches with who the fuck was he thinking? But he lost all his number one contenders matches. He decided, okay, let's have Undertaker versus John Cena. And Undertaker absolutely no-showed the entire time up to this point. Kane eventually showed up and chokeslammed him. And then for whatever reason decides to have a feud with Kane, which...
And then he was chanting to the crowd, do something.
Yes.
And basically I'm like, do something! Do something!
Apparently everybody's fans of Manos of the Hands of Fate.
Or
Spaceballs.
I was going to say, do something! Do something! Do something!
Yeah. And so John Cena, who spent the entire first half of the show just sitting there in the crowd, I'm actually surprised by how, I don't know if the guys next to him were plants or not, but they were very calm sitting next to him.
I'd like to think that they were the VIPs or something.
Yeah, sure, why not? And so Cena runs to the back. What the hell? I don't remember, but he finally comes out. He demands Undertaker comes out. Instead, he gets the Drifter.
Elias.
The lights went down, and then it just bling with his what is it? What is he wearing, man?
I don't know. Just some weird ass little pigtail in the back of his head.
He's got
with this weird looking outfit that looks like
he looks like he's ready for Woodstock.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who his suit reminds me of. I'm thinking back to like
Jimi Hendrix. I wouldn't say Jimi Hendrix.
The dude or whoever was in that.
The dude from The Big Lebowski.
I don't know. But yeah, he comes out, he plays House of the Rising Sun for a little bit and a bunch of other rubbish. Cena gets fed up with his bullshit and finally just hits all his signature moves on him in the AA and sends Elias packing.
This was a good segment, mostly because I really, really like Elias. I ridiculed his gimmick at first, but after a while, it grew on me, and I really like it. I think he has the potential to be an Intercontinental Champion.
Better in the future, maybe a world champion if they know what they're doing.
No, definitely mid-card for life.
I'm hoping, though, that if he turns face, that he goes metal.
That'd be awesome.
He wears leather pants, shaves his hipster beard.
I can see him playing some Black Sabbath or some Metallica on his guitar. That'd be awesome.
And he comes to the ring with a flying V.
So Cena finally realizes Taker's not going to come out and he's not going to get his match. So he starts slowly walking to the back.
Then you just play the sad Hulk music and, all the sad Charlie Brown music.
And then all of a sudden the lights go out again and you hear Undertaker's dong. And then Taker finally comes out and all the smoke. He does his entrance and I'm pretty sure his entrance was longer than the actual match itself.
That was like the past 3 Manias, like there's stalling and then there's this. I've seen traffic jams that go by faster than the Undertaker's Mania entrances these past few years.
Well, to be fair, the one with Roman Reigns was quick because he actually came out and
he took a warp zone.
Yeah,
Yes.
if he had started all the way from the top of that thing, it would have been 2 a.m. by the time he got to the ring.
It was longer than the Brock Goldberg match.
Oh, shit, I think it was.
Yeah, Brian Alvarez timed it.
Yeah. So, after all that, Taker just squashes Cena in 3 minutes. Well done.
Good. You know what? They're like, that dude. He's like, I was like, I said on Twitter, I was like, Cena, you deserve that. I was like, get straight.
I just realized that Cena was basically the heel in this feud.
Yeah, but it's the old tale of be careful what you wish for, you just might get it.
Yeah. No, honestly, I think this was the way to go because Taker is 51 now. He should not be doing long matches. Just go out there, do some of your signature stuff, hit the tombstone, and there you go. You got your paycheck.
Hey, his replaced hip has at least given him some more mobility.
Yeah, sure. And his hair's all grown back again. I remember when he had his hair cut when the streak was broken. I'm like, dude, you look 40 years older. But yeah, it was a squash. I don't give a rating for squash matches.
If I could, I'll give it 1.5 stars.
1.5. Yeah. But yeah, nothing really else to say. So Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, or as I like to call it, the Tim and Tom of WWE.
Tim and Tom are Roboteers from the show Brandon and I like called Robot Wars.
Yeah, they're basically like, they look exactly like Sami and Kevin. It's bizarre.
And yet they somehow manage to have more charisma than the two. It's odd.
Hey,
Come on.
Sammy has charisma, Kevin doesn't, but
Really? Because I feel it's
Kevin,
the opposite. I feel it's the other way around.
They both got charisma. Like Sami he was always the upbeat babyface with all the babyface fire, and Kevin Owens is this big ass, loudmouthed asshole, always wanting to get what he wants. And Sami Zayn as a heel just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, you see this guy, this ginger-haired Canadian dude. He looks like the nicest guy in the world. And then then you just see him going ahead and start beating the shit out of people. It's like watching that nice next door neighbor teaching you that bullying is the right thing to do. What the fuck? So the stipulation is, if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn win this match, they get their jobs back
on SmackDown Live.
Otherwise, I don't know, they could be going to Raw or whatnot.
And as we found out on Raw, they're not going there either.
No.
Well, it looks like they might be going to Impact Wrestling.
Oh! Well, now that Impact is pretty much a non-issue, they can just shoot on TNA all they want now.
Oh, and I love the fact Kevin's face was doing that. I was like, I'd rather go through like 500, just go through like a table full of thumbtacks before going to TNA. He's like, if he was actually there, he's like, this is how my career ends. Just be like, that dude from Arrested Development was like, I made a terrible mistake.
So the match, as soon as it begins, Sami and Kevin show up out of nowhere. They beat the shit out of Daniel Bryan. They give him the power bomb onto the apron, and D-Bry is pretty much out for the first few minutes or so. So now
hits his back, and then he sells his throat.
Yeah.
Psychology.
It's like I watched the SmackDown replay, and you can tell they were obviously trying to be very careful not to hit Daniel Bryan in the head.
Yeah.
But now it's come where I'm less worried about Daniel's head and worried that his spine is going to be completely wrecked. It's like, come on.
But even better, I love the fact that this was supposed to be a move that takes people out like for months, and then it turned to weeks, and then it says it takes. I love the fact it just Michael Cole said when that happened to Seth Rollins before the match in the Hell in a Cell. That wasn't Hell in a Cell. Yeah, it was Hell in a Cell. Says this match would take weeks. That move takes weeks of your career. I'm like, wow.
And then they show up the next night.
And they showed the next like the match, and he was still doing all of his moves. I'm like, yeah, that
psychology.
Yeah.
hashtag hardest part of the ring. Yeah.
Speaking of Hell in a Cell matches, we have Shane McMahon going out there. This man is 50 years old. He still has no idea how to throw a good-looking punch.
It looked better than the previous ones. I'm guessing he took some lessons from Ronda Rousey, but...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but yeah, he was having diverticus, which somehow the announcer said...
Tuberculitis.
Somehow, that's Sami and Kevin calls, which...
I'd like to say when he got powerbombed onto the metal girder, which... Dude.
Shane, can you please not be in any more Mania matches? We don't want you to die.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like, this guy is legit trying to kill himself now. I mean, between jumping off the top of the cage, the cell twice, getting a shoot powerbomb, mind you, onto metal, and then all this other garbage, and
working with an intestinal infection,
and this first match was death. It's like he looked terrible in this first.
Oh
match.
yeah, but yeah, he still had enough gumption to actually take all the moves and still. I mean, people want to complain Super Cena, but dang, Shane McMahon, man, I don't know what it is. Is it the McMahon stuff? Which
magic?
Yeah. And then finally, Daniel Bryan finally comes back. Shane finally tags out, and at long last, Daniel Bryan can go wild.
House of Fire.
House of Fire. He has not lost a step. It was like so wonderful to see him wrestling again and doing flips, kicking, just all kinds of craziness.
His submissions, of course. And of course, Bryan, of course, wins by making Sami tap, our third submission of the night, I should say.
Yes. Hey, there you go. Nothing wrong with some variety.
Charles, you there?
Matt down.
Just making sure.
Yeah. What'd you think of the match?
Oh, I thought the match was decent. 2 stars.
Yeah, 2 stars.
I mean, it was terrible when Shane was in there, but it was a lot of fun when
I give Shane all the props in the world for working with the stomach, intestinal infection, what have you. Shane, do not work another WrestleMania, please.
Especially at his age now.
I mean, you're not Minoru Suzuki. You can't go the distance that Suzuki can. But then again, Suzuki isn't taking ridiculous bumps every show.
I give it 2.5 stars. The 2.5 are basically for the stuff with Bryan, but yeah, Shane just needs to stop wrestling now. And yeah, that pretty much covers it. And unfortunately, I think this is where the match quality dropped. Like this was a solid show up to this point, and then after that, it just dipped. So Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship.
I loved this match.
Let me give 2 positives about this. Let me give 2 positives about this match. Number 1, Nia Jax looked really good in that outfit. It's like people bury Nia because she's big and a little overweight, but goddamn, she managed to make this work.
She came out dressed as Tharja from Fire Emblem from the Fire Emblem games.
And, she pulled it off, I gotta say. And the second positive is right after Nia basically beat the shit out of Mickie James before the match started.
Oh.
She goes into the ring, she confronts Alexa, and just screams in her face, "Ah!" And Alexa's like, "Ah!" And then just runs away.
And that way it's smart, which, by the way, I'm liking that actually. So Babyface is smart, taking out the heel's backup. Because, I'm like, years past, they would have kept her there and have her lose the match that way.
Yeah.
But no, Nia did the right thing. I love Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Like,
right there with you.
Like, she's not good, but she definitely has personality, I think.
If I was in charge of creative, I would book her like the Joshi pro wrestler Aja Kong. Because Aja Kong, Nia Jax may not be a technical wizard like Aja Kong, but Nia is good at But I compare Nyah to Aja Kong because Aja Kong absolutely destroyed her opponents. Like, she was absolutely relentless.
Now, with that said,
this match went too long. It should have been a squash.
Yeah. Given the psychology, a babyface Haas girl versus this tiny little 99-pound girl, Nyah should be able to squash her in like 2 minutes. Instead, they had a competitive match that went 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it went a little too long, like Duke said.
At least Bliss, used underhanded tactics against Nyah to try and get her, but come on, I don't think Bliss should have gotten a single shot in on Nyah.
No.
It should have cemented Nyah's status as the new champion, and that basically no one can take her down. She's this huge giantess.
Yeah. Eventually it came down to Nyah basically getting some slams in, but then just picks her up and keeps attacking. Bliss keeps going for the eyes, raking the eyes. Who does she think she is? Mo Howard? And eventually Nyah just gets fed up. She screams, "I loved you!" And hits one last big power bomb to finally finish Alexa off. Alexa is pinned. Nia Jax is your new Raw Women's Champion, and it's a feel-good moment.
What's that move that Nyah does when she basically throws Bliss over her shoulders? Because if that is not called the Jax Splat, I'm gonna have to strangle somebody.
Hair. She's
the hair pull. Yeah.
Hair pull whip, hip attack. Body avalanche.
Wait, what's no. Fireman. No, it's not a fireman's carry power slam. But whatever that move is she did with Alexa Bliss in the corner, that looked brutal.
Yeah.
But
that looks like
that move. I seriously think they should call that the Jax Splat.
The Jax off.
No, Jax Splat.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. I give it a 1.75 stars, but I will say I'm happy for Nyah.
From a match standpoint, I would give it 2 stars out of 4. But from a storytelling perspective, I give it 4 stars.
Yeah. What do you think, Duke?
I give it a decent 2.5 stars because again, this match should have been a squash one.
Yeah. This next match. The dream match, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
I knew this was gonna disappoint. I said this before and I'll say this again. I would have had Sami Zayn win the title at Fastlane and have made this to a 3-way dance because I think that match would have been so much better.
Here's the thing. You like Nate. You're the big New Japan guy. You say it.
Yeah. Well, AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura fought before at Wrestle Kingdom 10, and I need to rewatch their match, but the reason why it worked so well was because not only were they on the grandest stage at Wrestle Kingdom, but it felt like there was something actually at stake, because... Hang on, I'm gonna look up the Wrestle Kingdom card. You can edit this out.
He's looking up the Wrestle Kingdom 10 card now. Let's see. What matches did we have on there? We had it was a semi-main.
Yeah,
it was for the Intercontinental Championship.
That was for the Intercontinental title, but that was also AJ Styles' last match for New Japan before he jumped ship to WWE. And it felt like there was something actually at stake there. Like, you knew AJ was gonna win, but he gave it his all. This match, though, well...
AJ worked hard on this match. He did.
Well, they both worked hard, but nobody cared.
Well, I think the comparison shouldn't be to their match at Wrestle Kingdom 10, but rather another match that happened this weekend, Gargano versus Champa.
Yes.
You look at the story that match told. Johnny Gargano becoming one of the top baby faces in NXT. You know, Champa is off TV for some time because he's recovering from ACL surgery. Champa comes back absolutely with absolutely no remorse for Johnny. He's being an absolute bastard, attacking Gargano at every point. There was a definitive baby face and a definitive heel. In that match, when Champa finally came out, the boos that he got, you honestly felt like there was something there. I felt that there was more at stake in a match where there was nothing on the line than in this match for the WWE Championship. And I think that just the fact that there was no real build to this match, there was no story, there was no good guy, there was no bad guy. It was just two guys fighting for a championship. And again, to go back to the New Japan match, AJ was the heel, Shinsuke was the babyface, but it's just two guys here doing moves. There's no story or substance to it, and you know, you can do as many moves as you want, but if you can't tell a story, then what's the point?
And it really feels like Nakamura's just feels muted since he's been in WWE.
Nakamura doesn't have that type of flair. And the thing is about Johnny Gargano and Champa feud, they started out, it was a build. It was started basically, if you want to look back, the Cruiserweight Classic. That was the seeds and stuff there. And you look at how that kept continuing.
It was a slow burn.
Exactly. You didn't know who was going to turn. I honestly thought it was going to be Johnny because I was like, I didn't really care for him.
I look at Champa and Johnny, and Champa really looks like he has the look to match a heel, and Gargano, the little guy, he seems more of a babyface.
Yes, and that to me, I really like, man, that really got me. Even though the match went a little too long, in my personal opinion, but that's the problem with most NXT matches.
I thought it was a solid 5-star match.
It was, but I think the match was way too long, personally. But overall, it felt like important. It was emotional. You had something. There was actually, a goal. It was a tangible thing, and the good guy actually conquered. This match was it's just the wrestling. It was dream match. I was like, okay,
They had a match, and that's the real disappointing thing about it. All they did was, they did moves. They did their signature stuff. Nakamura did his good vibrations and his weird head to the chest thing, which I don't get. Like, what is that supposed to do? And eventually, I think Nakamura was able to get a Bomaye to the back of AJ Styles' head, but AJ was able to kick out. And then finally, AJ locked in the Styles Clash and finally got the pin in on Nakamura. And what really hammers the nail in the coffin is that we had 2 Royal Rumble winners this year, both of them from Japan, and both of them lost. And what the hell, man? So the 2 hug at the end, but Nakamura realizes, wow, this has been complete bullshit, and he low blows AJ.
After we were president of the WWE titles like this,
he talks a bunch of trash in Japanese. He kicks AJ out of the ring. He finally hits the Bomaye on him to knock AJ out and cement his heel turn. And I think this might work. Because, with Nakamura as a babyface, he just seemed very toned down. But now that he's a heel, he can really up his game. Up, down, down. Up his game. He could be a lot more vicious, a lot more stiff, a lot more dangerous. I think it could work. What do you think, Nate?
I'm curious as to see where they go with it.
And what do you think, Chuck?
Well, I think this was, I think Nakamura is fine, but I'm like, man, he has been coasting for a long while in WWE. And I think that's the problem, is that he was just coasting. I just see him winning. Maybe he might win a title, but I think he goes back to New Japan and just chills out there.
He goes back, tries to take his spot from Tetsuya Naito.
Or hell, how about he finally gets that title off Okada?
I can see either Naito, Kota Ibushi, or Kenny Omega getting it first.
Or God help us if it's Cody. Hell no with that. No.
But
I will say Cody's made a great heel, but his matches just are not fun. But yeah, that covers AJ versus Nakamura 2.0. What rating do you give it?
I give it 1.5 stars out of 4.
Oh, what do you think, Charles?
Oh, the AJ and Shinsuke Nakamura, I give it like a 1.5. That was
jeez. I give it 3. I mean, they tried. I'll give it that. They tried, but the crowd didn't care.
There was just nothing to cheer for.
Yeah.
There was just nothing there to get invested in. That's my biggest complaint with this match.
Do you want to know what the crowd did cheer for?
Oh, yes.
Braun Strowman and a mystery partner versus Cesaro and Sheamus.
Which came out in a nice little flow for, Mardi Gras or whatever.
Yeah.
Throwing beads out there.
It was kind of weird. Like, Sheamus and Cesaro came out, and they were acted like baby faces, throwing beads out, and they got these wacky float with these weird people with
It's
the
a
heads
Mardi
on 'em.
Gras float.
It's a Mardi Gras
But,
float.
big vehicle. Big vehicle. Braun Strowman. Where's this gonna go?
Braun just comes out and all the crazy people with the weird faces just go running away in terror, and then Braun just throws the float down. I looked at that float. I tried to find where the wire was that was pulling the float off of the stage, but I couldn't find it. I just think Braun is legitimately strong.
I don't think that float was on a wire. It didn't look...
I'm joking. So, Braun comes out. I was expecting him to finally come out with a partner. I was expecting maybe Samoa Joe, because, come on.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Or
Joe.
Elias.
Or
Elias.
Lars Sullivan.
Anybody.
I love Lars Sullivan. I'm hoping he gets
Instead, he goes out into the crowd. I expected him to
And
go
you have,
maybe...
like,
yeah, like maybe he'd have like
No Way Jose.
Kenzo Suzuki.
No way Jose was in the crowd.
He was in the crowd. Kenzo Suzuki
I know,
was in
actually,
the crowd.
funny enough, I think Brian Zane was there as well.
Yeah,
Oh, Brian Zane would be hilarious.
But
Oh,
instead,
Come on,
he
WWE.
said, my partner's
hire
gonna
Zane
be...
and make him Cornette Jr.
And even better, they had I think Lil Kariba was there too.
Yeah.
That was awkward.
Everybody was there. The Weasley twins were there.
Oh, God would have been, and I think supposedly rumor had the Rainmaker was there too.
Okada. Yeah.
Okada.
But
That would
instead,
have been really awkward if he actually picked him as his partner.
but he instead pulls out this 12-year-old boy from the crowd.
You know who this boy is? It's
he was
one of the referee's sons. I believe his name is
Nicholas Cum is who it is.
Did you just say Cum?
Nicholas
C-O-M-E.
Cone.
It's John Cone's son, Nicholas, who
Yes.
I thought he was a girl at first. Turns out it's a boy who apparently went to the AJ Styles School of Hairstylists.
I thought I heard a girl's name, but that kid looks like a boy.
Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, and Nicholas, he picks Nicholas. He brings him out. He has him stand on the apron. And it was just Braun Strowman 1-on-2 the entire time.
This was a house show match.
Yes.
Brawny the Strowman here, what this was basically cementing Braun Strowman as a one-man wrecking crew.
Yes.
You ask me who I think should be the top guy in the company, Braun Strowman. And I'll tell you why. It's because he's got a good look, he can get over with the crowds on his own, he has decent in-ring ability, I like brawlers, but most importantly, he's something unique, something we've never had before. A monster babyface.
Yes.
You know what? Call me crazy, but I see him winning the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Oh,
And
yes.
then-
Yes.
I think he should be the next
let's
challenge.
talk about that.
I mean, when I...
They
let's get
decided
to
to
that
have
after...
a second Royal Rumble.
Let's
Well,
get
they need
to...
some-
Let's get to that at the end of the show, because I have a rant saved for that. But
Hurrah.
when Braun Strowman came out, even though I knew what happened, every time I come out, my first reaction is that I laugh, because whenever Braun Strowman comes out, I know something crazy's gonna happen.
You hear that? Yeah. That's a good one, Duke.
And he tries tagging Nick into the
And
the
then
ring.
The crowd was crazy, by the way.
I mean,
That was
this is like
amazing.
something out of DDT Pro, where, you give the title belt to a little kid. But I can't get mad at this, because Braun Strowman is just so likable. And, him letting this kid live out his dream under the supervision of his dad, like, this is what wrestling is all
John
about.
Cone was the ref in this match.
And I'm grateful that Braun Strowman was willing to do this.
Yeah,
It makes it...
the one I believe Nicholas got to hang on to the title belt for the rest of the night too.
He did. I'm pretty... Boy, that's gonna be fun. Boy, he's gonna be the most popular kid in school school this week.
Yeah. Of course, the one downside is the next night, Strowman had to vacate the title. But you know what?
Yeah, and then he doesn't. Nicholas said, after I love the fact Nicholas said this. After his school, he's going to say, you're going to get these hands. I'm like, I can't say it like he did, but I was like,
you got to get these hands. Well, you know what? Braun doesn't need the tag titles anyway. Just push him back to the main title eventually.
Like, everyone loves Braun Strowman.
He's one of the top baby faces that WWE managed to get right.
Mm-hmm.
He's everything that Roman Reigns should have been.
Yes. And
that's hope. I still say I have hope for Roman. There's still hope. I mean, hey, people threw Matt Hardy, after the whole cold-blooded, cow-blooded stuff. And then next you got, Broken, now Woken, and people seem to love him. So again.
On the subject of Roman Reigns turning heel, I don't know if WWE will do it or not, but the best reason I heard came from Bruce Pritchard on Something to Wrestle With, and he said, turn Roman Reigns heel so that fans will love him even more when he turns face.
There you go. It worked for the New Day.
Yeah, and then again, it just seems like wrestling fans have this really low sense of just like quality themselves. I mean, then could you imagine any fan base would say, well, like I said, Spider-Man's like, man, going to the stuff time crowd, and the people are like, man, I don't know, I feel like. Then he breaks the fourth wall and Spider-Man calls him pieces of shit, and they're like, you know what? I'm gonna read this comic more because this guy called me a piece of shit. So I'm like, and then again, it reinforces that pro wrestling fans have low self-esteem. When the next night on Raw, they were chanting, "We are scumbags." I'm like, wow,
total heel crowd right there.
They've become self-aware. Quick, run out to the grocery store. The end is nigh.
Yeah. All right. Which leads us to the main event of the show, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns.
It was not a bad match, but the crowd made it worse.
They shit on it.
Oh, gosh, I hated that. I was like, this crowd, there's probably just disrespectful stuff there.
Yeah. I mean, as a Devil, I've seen Devils fans be disrespectful to the opposing team, but, look. Enough with the hijacking. Enough with the beach balls. If you don't like it, leave.
Yeah, apparently there was a grand total of 4 beach balls.
5.
5. 4 ain't enough, man. I need 5 beach balls going all around this ring. It's like...
Yeah, Brian Zayn was there. Yeah, Brian Zayn, who was there.
And Brian Alvarez, too.
Brian Zayn just said it best about hijacking. I'll pull up his tweet.
Brandon, why are you pulling up the tweet now?
I should, because I don't have it beforehand.
He's got like 20,000
Oh, I
tweets.
got him. It says, quote, this pretty much, let's see, was it the, let me see if I can find it.
This is a great podcast, I must say.
Oh, no. I will find this. It's right there. I think he said, I don't want to hear anyone who attended Mania trying to justify the hijacking that main event by saying they gave it a chance at first. Bullshit. No. People started chanting and tossing beach balls around almost immediately.
I heard chants of CM Punk. I heard chants of "This is awful."
I heard chants of "Delete."
Ugh.
Which is sad because the match, it wasn't bad, but the wrong guy won.
Exactly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Why? I gotta ask, why? Because you've been booking Roman Reigns like a monster. This was his chance to get the WWE Championship back.
Fans were chanting beforehand. Like, even in the build-up, people were chanting, "Let's go, Roman."
What the fuck? I'm frustrated right now because you booked Roman so long. This is your big main show. You can have WrestleMania, which has been up, but it's been a bit down. This is finally the chance to get the title off a guy who's held it for more than a year now and hardly ever shows up. You put the title on Roman. He becomes the top guy on Raw. You get all these good matches and all these good chances to have Roman face off, and then you just have him lose.
Because they made him Lex Luger.
Oh, God.
and here's the best part. And this is the rant that I have been saving. So apparently, Brock exploded on Vince McMahon in the back.
That sounds lewd.
Because, like, he wasn't happy with something or what have you. And I'm like, oh, great. Not only is our champion a no-call, no-show, he's a diva, too. And then we got news the next day that Brock is going to be re-signing with the WWF for God knows how many appearances. And that they're going to have another championship match at that stupid-ass Ultimate Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. Why? Just why? Why would you do that? Why would you change a finish days before your biggest show only to change your mind and do it on another show that no one's gonna watch? God, this company!
Settle down there, rowdy reviewer.
I'm not done yet. It gets better. Because Roman Reigns is going to be defending his title against Brock Lesnar in a steel cage match, where the rules are likely going to be escape only. Way to make Roman look strong, WWE!
I just realized this, that I think they might actually be trolling us now by putting it in a steel cage, because Brock was said to be going back to UFC, but now he's just filed a new deal with WWE. So he's going from one steel cage to another steel cage.
Fuck that noise! This is stupid!
By the way, by the way, we have to, if you want to talk about the Greatest Royal Rumble,
that is
there's
stupid.
Actually more stuff here, actually. There's
They've
going to be a
already booked a whole bunch of shit on it already.
Yeah,
this is basically another WrestleMania! Like,
It's
but
another
you know
Royal
what?
Rumble.
But the reason why is because, look, they're trying to be international.
I
can't hate them that, because they say, let's give them crap shows, and then, people don't want the shows anymore. You're like, I mean, what do you want to do? Because you can't just say, just give the international stuff crap, and then, because WWE used to do this all the time. They used to have big shows in Britain and all this stuff. I mean, heck, the British Bulldog won the Intercontinental when it was meant something in his home country. One of the most memorable moments, him and Bret Hart.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, wow, that was amazing. And WWE says, they have a history of that. They have a history of bringing these big matches. I mean, they have the UK pay-per-view Rebellion. They had matches like, I think it was a triple threat match between The Rock, Stone Rock.
Yeah, they did pay-per-views in Manchester. I know WCW did a pay-per-view in Millennium, in Germany called Millennium Final, which was in 2000, which tells you everything you need to know about the quality.
It's not on the network. I gotta know.
I'm sure they got everything on the network now.
They got Thunder on the network. Ugh.
hey, Thunder had some good stuff on it.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. They had some.
And so, this match, if you ever wanted to see a person's finisher just killed to death, then look no further than this match, because
Roman kicking out of all those F5s, man, that is some Young Bucks shit right there.
This was like if you took the Brock Lesnar Goldberg match and made it about twice as long. Like, the Brock Lesnar Goldberg match was just the two of them just hitting each other's finishers over and over and over again, but it was short and it was awesome, because just seeing these guys hitting finishers and beating the ever living shit out of each other, going through the barricade, it was fun.
It was a long show, and granted, I didn't feel like this year's Mania dragged as much as the previous.
It actually went a bit quicker than I think last year's did.
Yeah,
strangely.
But like the main event, it should have been a short but sweet affair. Like they really needed to cut down the match times on certain things.
I will say the best part was about right towards the tail end, when the crowd is chanting, "This is awful, this is awful, this is awful." Brock finally says, "Okay, you want me to liven this up a bit? You want to fuck with me? Say hello to these hands!" And then he just takes the gloves off, and he does the Randy Orton shots right to the head. Roman is legit busted open, just like Orton was, and he's bleeding all over the
Roman
place.
with that blood all over his face.
And at that point, the crowd realized, "Oh shit!" And then they just stopped chanting. And Roman is now a bloodied up mess. Yeah, I believe he had more blood on his face than Brock did at their last encounter.
Oh no, this was like, to me, reminded me of the Eddie Guerrero type of stuff.
At least that was a blade job. This was fucking hard.
Yeah, that looked
like people thought this was a blood packet. No, this like you can see the hole like in Roman's head, and it's just pouring right out of there. And the next night you see Roman, he's got stitches right above his hairline.
Yeah, it was no scratch. It was like Mr. Kennedy versus Batista at 1 year.
It's like, okay, now Roman is fired up. He's just bloodied. He's mad. He's the big red dog. He's Clifford. He goes in. He hits a couple spears on Brock. He goes in to hit one more, and then Brock just pops up, hits the F5, and that's the end of the match and the end of the show.
Yeah, they just said, and I felt bad for Roman because he was right there with his family.
I felt bad for Roman, and I felt bad for the people who were legitimately cheering for Roman. Yeah, because if I was a fan who wasn't trying to hijack the show, I would have called BS on that.
Yeah, this was complete BS. And by the way, it's the Millennium Final is not on available on the WWE Network, by the way.
So it's like another case of like a collision in Korea.
Yeah.
You can probably look it up in potato quality on Google or something, or Dailymotion.
But that was WrestleMania 34.
What rating do you give the Brock Reigns match?
2.5 stars.
I give it 2.25.
I think 2.5 stars is fair.
Yeah. I would have given it 3 if Roman had won, but unfortunately they decided to fuck Roman again. They fucked us again, so that they can have him face off again at that fucking Royal Rumble 2 or whatever they got going on.
And like I said, they could have Roman win here and have Brock say, "Hey, I want my rematch, and this will be the rematch." And I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with that, because y'all be okay with that, right?
But sure. Like the Brock versus Roman thing, like just being announced the next night, it left such a bad taste. And as Tony Schiavone said on his podcast, when your company starts screwing the fans over, that's when you know your promotion's fucked.
And that's what it is. And the W's, they got the revenues, but their profits are always getting lower and lower. And that's the thing. They are trying to become all these things, but they don't care about their foundations. And that, to me, pisses me off. Is that there's so much talent, so much good stuff here. And they just could be pissing it away. And I say, honestly, at this point, if I was Roman, I would say, screw it. Just be like Neville and just say, F this. You're not going to treat my character right? I'm done. Yeah, I don't want to be here. And just roll out. Just roll out. Just roll out. Go to New Japan, because I guarantee you they'll treat them better what WWE's been doing.
Oh, Roman working alongside Tomohiro Ishii and Minoru Suzuki would be money, man.
I don't know.
Like, Roman versus Ishii especially, because Ishii is such a great
a big scary Samoan with a couple small Japanese guys. I don't know. I'm not trying to be racist.
No, but I think let's see.
I just don't see Roman fitting in.
Hey, you know what? It would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Other than that, he could go to TNA, which is
I know TNA is hiring. So overall, I enjoyed the first half of the show. The Ronda match was the best match of the night. I'd say Asuka versus Charlotte was the second best match.
Yes, and most of them had great matches with the ladies, and
I think
it's.
I think you should watch it up until AJ and Nakamura hug, because the match wasn't good, but at least they tried, and AJ and Nakamura would have. Or, you know what? Hell no. The Ronda Rousey match, like you guys said, would have been a great main event, I think.
And like I said, you know what? I said this at the Royal Rumble. Rusev should have won that thing, and if he would have won it, I think AJ and Rusev would have tore that house down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this was an odd show. A lot of odd booking. But I won't say it wasn't unpredictable.
No.
I give it a thumb up.
I give it a 7. I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
definitely better. Definitely better than last year's Mania.
Absolutely.
Actually, now that
well, last year's WrestleMania was long.
Well,
Yeah,
I think the reason why I feel it's better is because this year felt like, even though it was a 5-hour show, it didn't drag.
No. It had its good points and some bad points, but
you know what?
I enjoyed much of it.
WrestleMania. I enjoy WrestleMania 33 better than because honestly, I think all the stuff there you had to me was a lot more. I think personally, I think it was actually a lot more. How you say streamlined and such. I think a better. I think AJ Styles and Shane was a better opening match than the Intercontinental. Just barely. I think it was and you had surprises like the Hardy Boys come in, and you didn't have that in this one, you know.
There were no real surprises.
Yeah, and for overall, I think the match quality, you know, personally, I think the Roman Reigns last year's main event was a lot better than what they had with Brock Lesnar, because it was disappointing. Him and Brock Lesnar was really disappointing.
I found the Undertaker match depressing because Taker didn't have it anymore. But...
Yeah, and I thought that
I liked the match they had at the 2015 WrestleMania better.
Oh yeah, I think Lesnar and Reigns was a lot better until Rollins came in and came in. But you know what? I would give this a 7. I think WrestleMania 8 was a lot, again, you had a lot more big stars show up. You got all this other stuff that happened at WrestleMania 33. But 7 is a pretty good score. I think
there you go. It's fair. That pretty much covers WrestleMania.
Oh, wait, Nathan, did you get your score?
Yeah, he gave it a 7.
I gave it a 7.
Oh, okay.
And that pretty much covers that. And we were gonna do NXT Takeover, but I think might take. I can cover it in like 2 minutes. But the entire NXT Takeover New Orleans show is hands down the best takeover I think they've ever put together.
Best one since Takeover Dallas.
Oh, absolutely! Just the ladder match was great. Women's match was okay. Phenomenal. The WWE the NXT Championship match was really good. Like it was Cien Almas versus who was the other guy again?
Aleister Black.
Aleister Black, yeah. I looked at Aleister Black and I see him with all his tattoos. I'm thinking this is just going to be another Baron Corbin. The guy can fucking wrestle. I was amazed by this guy. The tag match was okay, kind of a mess, although it was about time they had that Roderick Strong finally decided to join Red Dragon or whoever they're called now.
The Undisputed Era.
The Undisputed Bland. That's what I call it. The Bland Era.
And
don't at me.
The ladder match was a fun little spot fest. I didn't like Adam Cole winning, but how
Adam Cole, baby! How can you not want him to win?
I wanted either Lars Sullivan or Velveteen Dream.
Velveteen was just killing people with elbows. I said keep him in the NXT for like 2 more years. Have him have an NXT title reign. Or heck, I think he should have been the first one to win it and just have him just dominate for a whole 6-8 months with that belt.
And of course, we had the main event of Tomaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano.
What a
easy 5-star match.
What a story it told.
Like Dave Meltzer says that like Okada and Omega was like 6.25 stars. No, I like this match so much better.
There was more story to it than Okada Omega.
Yes.
And I just, again, I love the little moment when Gargano almost hits Ciampa with a crutch. And Gargano just looks at Ciampa saying, look, this is your last chance to redeem yourself. I won't hit you, if you decide to come to your senses. But Ciampa's just looking at him going, no, screw you.
And for a moment there, I thought it was going to turn into the T.J. Perkins and Brian Kendrick shit, where it looks like Kendrick's hurt and Perkins goes to comfort him only to get stabbed, and it's like, don't do it. And it was about to happen, but thankfully Gargano was smart. He ducked. He put in the submission and used Ciampa's knee brace on him. It was awesome. There was only one negative, and it's that I never want to see Ciampa's ass ever again. What were you thinking when you decided to give him a wedgie on the top of that table? But you know what? I give it 5 asses out of 5.
Anyway, that's it for WrestleMania.
Yeah, it was all right. It was a bit. It was fun. I enjoyed myself for the most part.
Yep, I had that. It was fun until the last moments.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed listening to the podcast. I'm sorry I can't do any more Bryan and Vinny uploads, but I hope you guys continue to listen. I hope you enjoy this podcast. I'm also going to be doing reviews of Robot Wars episodes. In fact, later on this week, we're going to be doing a review of the Extreme Warriors War of Independence, which should be fun. We'll have a couple UK guys here with us.
Yeah, it's a very emotional episode,
Absolutely.
Considering who wins.
Yep. And that pretty much covers that. And Duke, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Any plugs?
No problem. Just follow me on the YouTubes, youtube.com/DukeCT. Also Twitter, at DukeCT, and also I have the Duke CT Lounge, which comes on live every Thursday night on TalkShoe.com, and of course, Last Reviewer Standing, the video review series where I mostly talk about wrestling, but also gaming or things that just randomly pop up in my head.
I'll be sure to post all those links in the description. And any last plugs from you, Nate?
Well, I'm not really doing anything. I'm hoping to get my Otaku Nate show back on track. Right now, I'm just coasting along, watching anime. But I do want to give a shout out to one reviewer who I found who is absolutely hysterical, Jeffery Kitsch. He's a British reviewer who does several video series, including What the Butler Saw, where he reviews British movies and what have you. Character Chronicles, which chronicle various characters from sitcoms, cartoons, comics, etc. And Book versus Adaptation, where he takes a look at the comics of the likes of Tintin, Lucky Luke, and the Daltons, Asterix, and Thomas the Tank Engine, and sees how they compare to their adaptations. So he's funny, he's very witty, and he's become one of my new favorite video reviewers. So go check out his channel.
How old are you? No. But yeah, and as for me, my Headbanger142 account is back. You can look it up on YouTube. It's mostly just Robot Wars videos now, and I am going to Robo Games, which is basically the WrestleMania for robot combat. And I'm going to be going in April. I'm going to be uploading some fight videos, so if you're a big fan of BattleBots or Robot Wars, you should check them out. I thank you all for watching, and I thank you guys for joining me for this review, and I'll be seeing you guys later. Peace out.
Peace.
Make you humble, old country style.